Hey everybody, my name is Boyce and welcome to Real Stock Video. It's the just had the payout for the month of November. It was a low month for me, but we'll go over all the things that I sold and what we saw, and we'll talk about something a little different I want to try in the future. Let me just tell you right off the bat that I'm not seeing any type of new trends. I'm still selling the same type of shots, but I'll go over those really quickly with examples of what each one of them is so that you can see what I'm talking about when I say which type of shots I have. Overall, November for me was a little bit of a slow month. It was my third lowest. I can't remember what it was, but I'll put it up here. It's 600 and something, okay? It's my third lowest. I did have two lower months. The lowest month I had this whole year was 515 and the highest was 853. In January, I'll go over all the sales for 2023 and how it differed from 2024. The shots that I sold the most of were establishing shots. I'll give you some examples, but establishing shots are shots that just show where you're at, what the background is, what the environment is, and people can use these for all sorts of reasons, but they just establish a location. Often it's done with a drone or a tripod on a corner in front of a building, that type of thing. I sold 15 establishing shots. The next highest thing I sold, well, two things. One was environmental. When I say environmental, I assume that people bought them because they were environmental related. For example, it's forest fires or drought or factory emitting smoke from the smokestack. Something like that where I assume it was purchased by somebody who wanted to illustrate some environmental concern. Also, I sold 12 of those, and I also sold 12 nature shots. These shots can range anywhere from wildlife to just, let's say, landscapes where you're showing nature, but not necessarily people doing anything. I also sold 8 time lapses, and 2 of them were Milky Way time lapses. To me, I get excited when a Milky Way time lapse sells. I spend a lot of time doing them. You have to drive from where I live. I drive about an hour away. I set up a camera. I stay out there a minimum of 3 hours, drive home, and then spend another couple hours processing them. I usually do 3 or up to 5 at a time. I take every camera I have and do them. So when I sell one, it's I just love that because it's something I love and it's something I spent so much time doing. But the time lapse that I sold the most of was just a sunset time lapse from a mountaintop overlooking the Utah Valley. I live in the Utah Valley, so it was kind of overlooking this valley here in Utah, and I sold it 3 times, so for a total of $53. So that's pretty good. I also sold another clip, by the way, and this was a shot of a person with a model release. I sold that one for $48.96. So those are the 2 highest clips I sold. Anyway, back to what we're, for models, I only sold 5 shots with models and model releases. Now I know that I've told you recently to do more of that. And 5 doesn't sound like a lot, but I don't have that many and I need to do more, and I think you need to do more. But I also think you need to be thoughtful about how you do them. For example, look up what you're doing and what you're going to film. Look it up on Pond5 or look it up on whatever Shutterstock, wherever you think is a good place to do some research. And if you're doing a young Caucasian using a cell phone or smartphone, look that up and see how many clips there are. My guess is you're going to find tens of thousands of clips. If you searched on middle-aged female woman plumber, you're going to have maybe 15. So that's what I mean when I say some research. Look for what doesn't exist. Now it's possible it doesn't exist because there's no market for it. But it's also possible that it's just a niche that nobody has looked much into. My wife has a nail salon. I filmed her a lot putting on in her nail salon, doing manicures and pedicures. And it just doesn't sell that much because there's thousands of them out there. So be thoughtful about what you do. Don't just do models. Be thoughtful about your research and what you do, and you'll sell more, even though I only sold 5. And then editorial. I sold 4 editorial clips. Now I'm counting editorial clips as something that could be in the news. Some of these others were editorial clips. I didn't really count those. They just happened to be editorial because they were establishing shots where you can see the names of banks or buildings or hotels in the shot, and so it was editorial. When I say here I sold 4 editorial shots, I mean 4 shots that had newsworthy content, like a rally, a political event, fans cheering, or screaming, or protesters. That's what I mean when I say editorial content. I sold 4 of those. I think that's something, if you have access to, that you should do, especially if you can make sure you do that safely and discreetly, however. So that's what I sold this month, and I hope you enjoyed the examples. Keep in mind that every example I show you is an example of a clip that's sold. I don't show you just clips of what these are. I show you examples of things that actually sold, so you get an idea of the quality that's involved. Please don't set your quality standards based on what I do. Keep in mind that I had no training. I've been doing this with Blackbox for a number of years, and I hope I'm getting better. But you should really set your own high quality standards to do the best that you can do with the equipment that you have. That brings me to my last point. I don't know that I have a lot of extra information for you month in and month out. We see environmental shots, we see establishing shots, we see model shot. I don't think that I'm really telling you anything new at this point. So what I'd like to do is, in the near future, start doing a little bit of behind the scenes when I'm doing a shot. Like if I'm out gathering some editorial clips, I'm going to describe what I'm doing, where I'm doing it, and why I think they might sell. And I'll do same thing if I'm doing some establishing shots, or if I have a model shoot. I hope to do more of those. Maybe this will encourage me. Then I want to show you how I set it up, what I did, make sure, what the checklist I kind of go through. And then maybe even some post-processing tips or processes. Again, I don't think you should set your standards based on what I do. In fact, I think that what you might do is provide tips and help me and the rest of the community on how I could have done that better. So that's what I'm looking forward in 2024, mainly because I don't think there's a lot of value if I just get on here once a month and show you what I sold. I don't think that holds tremendous value into the future. I think it'll be better if we develop together, grow together, and help and share tips and tricks together. And I think that's going to be better off for this channel and for you as viewers. Hope this is helpful. Have a Merry Christmas. Have a great holiday season. Hope all is well with you, and best of luck selling stock images, stock video, or anything else that you have going on in your life.